Hello and welcome everyone to episode 13 of One Piece at a Time, the One Piece read-through podcast where we read and discuss 5 chapters of the One Piece manga each and every week. I'm your host, Derek Bittner, and I'm joined by my wonderful co-host and freelance letterer at Shonen Jump, Brandon Bovia. How you doing, Brandon?
How's it going, everybody?
I'm doing pretty well. So to date us a little bit, it's been a bit of a crazy week for me because I recording this just after my Xenoblade Chronicles 3 analysis went up on my other channel, Good Vibes Gaming, and that takes a lot of time to do analysis videos and trailers and scripts and all that. But you know, you just can't keep me away from One Piece. I gotta talk about it, especially when we're so close to being done with Don Krieg.
We're in the end game here for it, and I'm kind of ready to move on. Personally.
Yeah, I've definitely hit that
him specifically
point as well. Exactly. I think that's the big takeaway from this is I for the longest time I was like, I don't know about this arc in general, just there's all that, but upon rereading this, not to get too early into the thoughts, Krieg is the weakest part by far.
Yeah, he's the weak link. Yeah. If otherwise, this arc is fantastic, but it's just him, just like that last little, just missing that last little oomph.
Yeah. He just does not work. But you know who does work?
Carry it.
Gene.
Yeah.
Gene works so well.
Yeah, and that's getting right. Like we didn't even have a cover story. Like just right into the chapter.
Oh yeah, chapter 61, the demon. Our demon man Gene, who is using his cannonball tonfas to fight Sanji, and has Sanji down, has the other one ready to basically pop his head open. And I love this move from Sanji where he just breathes out a lot of smoke.
Yeah, he's got the cigarette in his mouth. Like it's just like he doesn't say anything. Like he feels in control despite being pinned down.
Exactly. And it's such a great, like, it's hard to see at first until you get to the next panel of it. I completely missed him spitting the cigarette out towards Gene's eyes.
Yeah, that was like genius. Like I was like, oh wait, that's the like you. It is sort of a blink and you miss it kind of thing, but like just like the sort of sequence of events that happens here where he like spits the cigarette into Gain's mouth and he uses that like to escape or it's like into his eye more.
Yeah,
he uses it to
more
escape.
of his eye.
Yeah.
The way it's paneled for that panel where he spits the cigarette out, there's so much detail in there that matters so much for what comes after because you can see Sanji's hands getting ready to scoot out underneath as he does after it hits. And
it's a really cool sequence.
Yeah, how quick it's coming, and it's just so well done. But you can also just see the effort of it by him barely escaping as he gets back to his feet. And that little smile by Gene where he's like, okay, yeah, you're cool too.
Yeah, they're this little back and forth they have, like they are straight up even, and it is all of the fight choreography during this little segment is just like awesome. It's so fun to read.
Oh, it's fantastic, and he gets a nice clean shot on Gene's face, but not enough for him to just not do anything else because he hits him again with the tonfas against the ribs, sending Sanji flying as he does the same. There's been some brutal combat involving Sanji this section.
Yeah, seriously, and this is after he's been like brutalized by Pearl.
Yeah,
and he's fighting Gain kind of on the same level.
It's crazy at that point. But of course, just seeing Gene take a punch has all the rest of the crew be like doubting him. And Krieg starts talking him up. He's like, all right, we got to have a hype man in here. See what he's all about.
Yeah.
He's my battle commander, my right-hand man. He'll torture a man to death heedless of his screams. No mercy in him whatsoever.
I do like that this is a fun setup for a little later.
Oh, yeah. Honestly, brutal scene under there where the blood's flying up. You see guy missing teeth.
Yeah.
It's like, oh my god,
established to be kind of a monster.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah, he doesn't have an ounce of mercy.
Yeah, there's just no mercy here. Just none. And then we Could get a little update on Sanji about how much damage he's actually taking, because sometimes it's hard to tell in Shonen Jump because people can take a lot of damage. But thanks to the comments we have, probably 5 or 6 busted ribs, not broken, just busted. That's
just busted. Yeah, he's fine.
Yeah, no worries about that. It's just busted up, but it's still moving, but still a little tough. It's still tough.
I'm more surprised he doesn't have a concussion at this point.
Yeah, seriously. Oh god, I'm thinking back to that hit from Pearl last time with
he got a lot of hits in the head.
Yeah, it's It's rough. But I guess he's a bit hard-headed because he's still taunting Jin. And I love the response. It's just Jin in his, like, basically demon form licking his own blood. It's just that rumble of the weird
that's a
flames.
cool
It's
close-up.
Jin is not a good-looking guy whatsoever, but that is effective to making him seem just oof.
Unhinged.
Yeah. And then we switch over to Luffy realizing, again, like, hey, just because we're both standing around doesn't mean we both can't fight. So now's my chance to actually get at him. And he tries to go after Krieg. And this is the example of why Krieg is just so frustrating as a villain.
Yeah.
It's keep away. It's all it is keep away, which works as a strategy. It's viable. It's playing to your advantages. Battle tactics wise, it makes sense.
It's just not that entertaining to read.
No, it's not entertaining to read. Nobody likes going up against a tanker.
Yeah, pretty much. And that's kind of what
turtle. Yeah, turtle. It's a turtle. Yeah. He's a turtle.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. It's just like, come over here and fight. And he's just like, no, I'm going to stand here in a corner and shoot darts at you.
He's turtling and camping, and it's like, two worst traits.
He's that guy.
Showing off more of his stuff. And what the heck does he flick? That causes the water to go.
I still don't know what it is.
Because at first I thought it was involved with his shield. But
it looks like he flicks something into the water and it blows up.
Yeah, he sends some sort of mini bomb. But the way he's flicking it with his finger, it's like, does he have explosive boogers? Because that's not out of the realm of possibility in One Piece.
No, it's not. I thought another character had those.
I think they do, honestly, now that I think about it.
Yeah, I remember that coming up, but I don't remember when.
But just sort of puts up this shield of water so Luffy can't see anything. And then he happens to have good foresight. I guess it just works out where he has a chain gun stake thrower.
I remember this was before I got into One Piece proper, but I remember this is where they, in the 4Kids dub, they turned him into the poison suction cups.
Oh my God. I did not realize because I had given up by this point.
Yeah, they had basically like turned the pointed edges into just like these, like a suction cup.
Yeah.
Like just like
turned
the edge like big and round, and they had all these like kind of sound effects to them, and I was like,
oh my God.
Yeah. I was like, oh, even as a non-fan yet, I was like, that change hurts. Yeah, but you can see it's pretty painful here.
God, yeah. It gets Luffy in the back of the leg. He looks like he's in legit pain and just barely avoiding landing in the ocean. You can just feel the frustration from Luffy.
Yeah, I hear he says, "You lousy jerk, you want to fight?" I'm like, yeah, that's how we all feel right now. It's like, are you gonna fight or what?
I know. And it's just Krieg giving his whole things, just saying like, battle demands only the tools and methods of death. That's armed might, not actual combat. Which, again, he's not wrong. It's just not fun to watch.
Yeah, exactly.
Also, were you thrown off by him constantly calling Luffy a monkey?
But I mean, it's his name.
Yeah, I mean, if
he's not wrong.
He's designed after a monkey, so it works. But it just feels weird to have it be a thing.
Yeah, it is a little weird.
Yeah, but while they've been going at it, the fight between Sanji and Jean is continuing on, and it's not going well. Those ribs are just
you can
powder.
See the blood coming off of his like cannonball tonfa thingies, and it's just like he must have gotten like a couple good clean hits on Sanji.
Oh yeah, just the fact all these men are saying that his bones are in shards.
Ow.
And he's been hit at least 10 times with the iron clubs. It's like, Jesus. Sanji's getting brutalized.
Yeah, but he's still able to, like, he lands that really cool looking kick on him. Mm-hmm. But even that is just like, even fighting back is painful. Like, you see him just like wince.
Yeah, I mean, it also, like, as he mentions, Jean missed on purpose. He should have been able to hit Sanji there. He was too slow to actually avoid it. And Sanji's actually upset by this. It's like, quit playing around. And then we get to the point that you mentioned where he's just doing his motions is so damaging. God, that face.
Oda's he's really able to make this stuff look like it hurts.
Yeah, he really does. And that's what it comes down to is it's nothing. He has Sanji by the throat, ready to finish the job, and
pinned down.
Can just see Jin's tears, and
he
can't do it. He cannot do it. He's thinking this is the one man he can't kill because it's the first time that anybody was ever kind to him at his lowest moment in life and he just can't do it, which is really gripping stuff.
Yeah, I've forgotten about this part, actually. Like, that he's just... that. I mean, and this is basically how this fight ends up ending, is just like he gains just so kind of broken by the gratitude of Sanji basically like saving his life. So I'm surprised in a good way at how that kind of came back into the story. It
goes against tropes up to this point. Yeah, because this basically is the end of the fight. Gene won. he won this fight. Which is a very odd thing, because we've Sanji's seen down. Zoro be how injured and still win his fights, but Sanji got basically brutalized. Definitely more so than we've ever seen Zoro get brutalized up to this point, and still, and it's just not enough. And it's a strange introduction to have this man obviously be strong, obviously be powerful, but lose. Well, lose the battle, and his ethics, his whole creed is what saves his life.
How dare you have emotions?
He got through to a man considered a demon who will do anything for his boss, as we'll find out soon.
Yeah, and that's it's power of food.
Yeah, it's the empathy of Sanji that saves him, not the fighting skills, which very different.
Yeah, that does feel sort of, I feel like, especially for a shonen manga, that it's sort of like, you won, Sanji won the fight by being a good person.
Yeah. It's not just this, I'm injured and can take it on, I can't refuse to lose. It's just, he won by his sort of his own ways, with his own methodology.
Doing the right thing.
Yeah.
And
it's an interesting end to the chapter. And then we finally get the end. Before we move on, we do get Usopp's pirate galley, which, as you mentioned before, they get replaced by English submissions, which, you know, they're cute, but I did kind of want to see the stuff from up-and-coming manga artists.
Yeah, I do think they keep them a little while later.
Okay. Probably because I don't worry about it as much, because it was an actual shonen Jump.
Yeah, this was back when we had an actual physical magazine to have these in.
Which I did get. It was cool at the time. It was something different. I think they gave like 3 or 4 chapters per release. Yeah. It was fun.
Yeah, it was awesome. Just something, just a very of its time kind of thing.
Yeah.
Couldn't really be feasible now.
No, not really. Well, let's go ahead and move over to chapter 62, MH5. And we get to see the first challenge of the newly instituted Richie Pirates. Where the indigenous Kumate tribe has shown up.
It looks like Richie's ready for a fight.
Yeah, Richie's looking pretty cool. Got the whole gang there, except for the Moji and... Oh gosh, I'm starting to forget their names, but Moji and Unicycle guy, whatever.
Yeah.
It's been a while. We'll have to see the outcome of this fight as time goes on. We'll see how Richie handles himself as a pirate captain. Yep, but getting into the chapter itself, of course, focusing on Krieg is like, you're disappointing me. I thought you would be the one to follow the principles of the Krieg pirates, and that's why I named you the commander of my pirate armada, because of your strength and ruthlessness in the pursuit of victory. And I thought you were the height of all these things.
He's hyping him up, like, I thought you were the best, blah, blah, blah. Just keep going.
Yeah. Just the ultimate is like, and again, you just feel for Gene because he's breaking down. His tears are just pouring out. You got that ugly cry. It's like, he, as he says, he doesn't regret any of the deceitful things he's done for Krieg.
When he says, this is the one person I can't kill, that got me a little bit.
Yeah, it got me as well. It's like,
he's stuck between his loyalty and his humanity.
Yeah. And make no mistake, Gene is a villain. With the way Krieg operates, he is absolutely a villain. Again, he was introduced by shooting a guy in the back.
Yeah.
It's amazing how well they make you kind of forget that just because of these breakdowns and his gratefulness to Sanji and how he's been trying to go against Krieg this entire time and try to keep him to some sort of code of gratefulness. But nope, not enough.
Yeah, and it gets to the point where, he's here crying, like asking Krieg if the ship could possibly be spared. You feel for him that he's just like, he is stuck in this awful situation that was kind of his fault to begin with, and he's just like, he is trying his best to regain control of the situation, but has just lost all control.
Yep, and you can just see that no matter what he says, Krieg will not be dissuaded, because that face of just him getting, like, anytime he's defied a little bit, that's pretty much the face he makes.
Yeah, he's And
it's like, how dare you, and all that. And with that, he decides to actually employ the MH5 this time around.
Yeah, the real one, not the bait.
Not the bait, yeah. And Gina's still arguing. He's like, they saved our lives. They saved all our lives. How could you do this? And it is brutal just seeing that.
Yeah.
Drop your mask. You're no longer part of the crew.
Well, if he's no longer a part of the crew, then that doesn't, like, you can't order him around anymore. Like,
true, but I don't think, obviously he's not thinking about that. It's like, just, God. It's rough.
Yeah.
And all them, like, even explaining, like, talking about how Gene was even captured by Iron Body because he disguised himself as Krieg.
Yeah, like, that's dedicated to the cause.
Yeah.
And Krieg is just not having it. Like, you've defied me once, so you must die. Like, okay.
And all of his other men are sort of, like, wondering about Krieg. And it's like, man, how could he do this? I mean...
Yeah, they're questioning him.
They are. But, I mean, they've been questioning him for a while because he wants to go back to the Grand Line with when so many of them got slaughtered.
Yeah. Sorry, guys. Your captain's an idiot.
Yeah. He really is. And Luffy tries to stop him from shooting it, but, of course, we get more of the stakes fired his way. But I do like how he, like, kind of crawls into, like, shifts underneath the mast that he's trying to cross.
Yeah.
And does this weird monkey crawl across the bottom.
Yeah. He's just...
It's so ridiculous. He would have made it, but Krieg punches it in half, and that's it for Luffy making it across at this point.
Luffy's been really good at avoiding water for a fight taking place entirely on the surface of water.
He really has. It's quite impressive. He avoids all the second volley of the stakes, but didn't quite make it across. And Luffy's basically just begging. It's like, don't obey Krieg. I'm going to clobber him.
Yeah, and then here, God, I feel so mixed and confused by Gin, where he's just, like, hey, don't talk smack about my captain who is just decided that he's going to kill me, and Sanji even says as much.
Yeah, your hero's trying to kill you, and that's the thing. It's a cult essentially. Gin's in a cult, and he's his unquestioning leader, the man that he sees as this pillar of strength, has abandoned him. And he feels he deserves it at this point because he went against him because of his own weakness. And
that's sad.
From that point of view, you can totally see it. It just sucks because Krieg does not deserve it at all.
Nope.
Again, he's powerful. He's absolutely, with his tactics, probably the most powerful pirate we've seen. Undoubtedly.
Yeah. That's sort of all he has. He's just sort of one note otherwise.
Yeah. He's strong. He has a lot of tools at his disposal, and he has numbers, and that's his big assets. But he lost his numbers, and so we're seeing his strength, and his strength is fine, but Sanji even outranks him, as we saw earlier. So it comes down to his tools, and
yeah.
I
mean, I do think on the other hand, it does sort of illustrate that a lot of fights in One Piece are more about, like, the ingenuity of the characters rather than just, like, the outright, like, power scaling or whatever.
That is true.
But that will also come back to bite him in this case.
But yeah, Gin is convinced that he deserves to die, so he throws away his mask, and that's when the MH5 comes out and everybody's putting on their masks. The cooks are diving under the water to avoid it. But Sanji and Gin are too weak to get out of the way, so Luffy steals the mask off of two guys and tosses it over to Gin and Sanji. But then everybody left, so he's out of the luck.
Yeah, I'd be like, I do love that face of him, like, freaking out.
But all of a sudden, a mask shows up next to him, and it gives him presumably enough time to be okay as the MH5 goes off, and we get Krieg's... You know what? Looking at this, Krieg should have had the mask on at all times. That's his best look. I mean, I can see that being actually pretty indicative, like the whole chemical warfare thing and all about tactics and whatnot. I feel like it fits his character a little bit better to have that sort of gas mask look at all times.
It would be more intimidating, that's for sure. You'd be like, holy crap, who's this guy running around with a mask on?
Like, even the quote, "This is military might," works really well when the mask is on him.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just he's real silly looking otherwise. So
Yeah,
yeah,
seriously.
I think the gas mask is a good look for a villain like him.
And 5 minutes pass as the poison finally dissipates. Get to see what actually happened, and turns out, kind of unsurprisingly, that Gene tossed his mask to Luffy and forced the other on Sanji's face.
Yeah, and he's looking in rough shape.
Yep, he's just been gassed for 5 minutes by this stuff. I mean, he's coughing blood and...
Yeah, he just splurts out blood.
Yep. And Krieg just laughs the entire time.
Yeah.
The sin of gratitude, and all for just a little food. And death is the only cure for fools.
If there is one thing we have learned about Luffy in this entire manga so far, you don't mess with your crew.
Nope.
Like, you don't treat your crew like this. And that just, that last panel of Luffy just yelling out Krieg, like he is pissed.
Oh, yeah.
And as the reader, we know enough up to this point. Just like we know how Luffy would react seeing another crewmate being treated by his captain. He's just like, that's not how you act.
Mm-hmm. It is on now. This is the mark of the actual start of the battle between Krieg and Luffy. There's been little skirmishes up to this point.
Yep.
But yeah, we're getting into the good stuff and the actual fight.
Luffy has a proper motivation now to just like kick his ass.
Oh yeah. So yeah, let's move on to chapter 63. I Won't Die. We get to see the last adventure of Richie's pirate crew. The fall
he
of Richie's pirates.
Lasted one cover story.
They lost to the natives. Did not turn out so well. All the pirates lost to these guys.
Oh, Buggy's crew can't catch a break.
I guess they're not so strong without Moji and Kabaji. I finally remember the other guy's name.
Yeah. Oh, too bad.
Yep. Oh, well. They're in a bit of a pickle. But anyway, let's get to the actual fight itself, where Krieg is still just lording over everyone. It's just, you feel sorry for that piece of rubbish. A fool who lost sight of what was important and refused to obey my orders as of no use to me.
It's just bland villain monologuing.
Oh, yeah. And the justification that you never know. Like, he betrayed me once, he could betray me again, so killing him was a kindness. And even his own, like, you can see his own crew being like, oh, God.
I was like, really? Come on, man.
Yep. Sanji's doing his best to try to save Gene. Don't we have any antidotes? It's like, but it's for food poisoning. It's food, it's something.
Yeah, it's like, it's something, whatever. Get what you can.
And Zeph, being the badass that he is like, you guys are idiots. Put the gas mask on him. There should be at least a little antitoxin left. And then carried him to the other deck. And,
Zeph knows what's up.
Yeah, Zeph's like, there you go. And all Luffy says before Gene gets carted away is, don't die.
Confidence.
Live despite him, and I'll send him flying for you. And
yeah, it's good stuff.
Gene is still convinced that Luffy can't win against him, but... everybody's like, calm down. You're too riled up. You'll be killed if you go at him like this. And Luffy's, nope. We get the I won't die.
That's good.
I'm beginning to love the dooms that we get.
Yeah, he's just. I love the confidence, especially just in knowing that this is what sets Luffy off, is the power of friendship, basically.
Oh yeah.
So I'm just I'm ready for Luffy to run in and just make things right.
And that's when we get Luffy's third attempt at crossing over to Krieg. Yep. And he's like, just completely talking it up. It's like, you're riled up and you're, easy to kill as a rage fool. And, you're a monkey who doesn't even learn from your mistakes. So here you go. More bombs to put out the ocean with more stakes coming through.
He really is the turtler, the tanker, just
the annoying person to fight.
Yeah. And Luffy's not having it.
No. You see it. He has taken hits in the shoulder and the right
in the gut.
Gut, yeah, basically, like towards the side.
And it looks like he just rips it right back out. Like there's like blood still remaining on it. Yeah, and he's just he is zooming right towards Krieg.
Oh gosh, it's just that almost wild thing coming at Krieg at this point, and he gets close enough that he does a flip to go into a sort of mini, he doesn't even say it, but basically another gum axe to spray up his own water to hide it, and goes for the gum pistol. And that's when Krieg pulls out more of his BS.
Yeah, he's just like, oh,
cape.
suddenly he just has this spiked cape. Like, he just...
Out of nowhere, just ready to go.
I love this part, by the way.
Oh, yeah. Just like, yep, I'm completely invulnerable. And you just get this very serious Luffy going, gum, gum, bullet.
And he just punches right through.
Yep.
Right through the porcupine cape. You see just Krieg's face just like, just bloodied, convulsing.
It is glorious and it feels satisfying.
It's so satisfying. Just, God. And then just, I love the chefs too. They're just like, he punched them right through, and they're just like, they're holding their hands like, ah!
Yep. Everybody's like, oh God, that is painful.
Well, yeah.
I love the difference between Gum Gum Pistol. It seems a bit more spread out, but with Gum Gum Bullet, it is a pure concentrated hit. It feels like from the name. Again, it's so satisfying.
It's hype. And then just seeing the blood dripping down Luffy's fist. Just, man. You see them say, like, Don Krieg's been knocked out, and I'm just like, that is like the first good, clean hit we've had on him this whole arc.
Oh, it absolutely is.
It feels so good.
I love seeing him just down like that. It is super satisfying. And they're all saying, I've never seen Don go down even on one knee. Right through the porcupine. And Luffy's starting to taunt him. He's like, so whose grave is this again? Mine or yours? I didn't notice this the first time I watched it, or I read it. He has holes in his fist.
Oh, God. Yeah, you're right.
You can see where the spikes punctured his fist. That is wild.
That hurts. Oh, my God.
Yeah, it does. Especially because Luffy keeps using that fist after this.
Yeah, he's not done yet.
No. You want to talk about Zoro's toughness, and I think Luffy can just sort of match it and go beyond. It kind of feels at that point.
Oh my God.
I find myself getting a little emotional again just because of Zeph, where talking about it, it's just like he sees something with Sanji. That's just that smile, and that's with Luffy. He sees something with Luffy, and he just has this smile. Is like, once in a long while, a fool comes along who, having his set his sights on something, won't quit fighting until he dies. It's a real nuisance to have a fella like that for an enemy, whether he wins or loses. I admire a man like that, and like that's to have that recognition.
I was talking last time about Luffy sort of slowly winning over Zeph, but I feel like that is the moment where like Zeph fully acknowledges Luffy.
Yeah, it's such a good moment. We also get a nice little bit of comedy in middle of all of this. It's like, how about my special pudding? Idiot, he's been already poisoned once today. It's like...
Yeah, that one made me laugh.
It's like, all right.
They're still talking smack to each other in this very serious life or death situation.
Yep. Just everybody's watching. Pirates are starting to panic. The cooks are feeling a little emboldened. But Krieg gets up. Good on him. He gets up. He gets a good, solid hit on Luffy with his shield. Whose place is it to die? Screaming out. And he's so confident, like, that was enough to get Luffy. But then Luffy bringing his foot back around to catch him on the shoulder and bring him back to the ground again.
Bonk. Yeah. I'm kind of loving this, like, reverse Uno card. Like, no, it's you. No, you're going to die. No, you're going to die.
Yep. It's so good. And just, it's a satisfying chapter.
Oh, yeah.
To finally see the fight start in earnest. And
that punch on the porcupine cape is maybe like a top 10 Luffy punch.
Yeah, I vividly remember that from the anime, seeing that for the first time and be like, yes.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's go ahead and move on to chapter 64, The Mighty Battle Spear.
Dang, this is going to be a short episode. Where are we almost done?
I know it's all battle, and it's
it's not a whole lot to talk about.
Not a whole lot, except for just how clever. Like, we're getting the sense, we're definitely with each fight, we're seeing the battle sense of Luffy, and kind of how, like, again, playing into the shonen trope is like, oh, they're an idiot, but when it comes to fights, they're really smart.
I definitely I love with that first page of the chapter. I love seeing like the three dimensionality of like Luffy just like contorting his body in all sorts of these like weird angles just to get a good hit in. like because he's basically like upside down and reversed and still kicking Krieg in the face.
Yeah, and you got him in the face. You can see how he's flipping back around.
Yeah,
it's a good look. Fantastic. Completely throwing off his men. It's like, what's going on? The enemy's supposed to die without being able to touch him. He's supposed to be invincible. How could this shrimp beat him? And it's definitely been like they were beaten by Mihawk. Mihawk makes sense.
Right?
He took down ships. I think they can accept that. To lose to Luffy out of this no name out of nowhere,
this no name pirate in the middle of nowhere.
Their faith is being shattered at this point.
Yeah.
And hearing them talk about all this is definitely enough to motivate Don Krieg, where he pulls out his ultimate weapon, the mighty battle spear.
I got to admit, this one looks a little cool.
A spear is a good weapon, has a good gimmick.
We are finally in close quarters combat.
Yeah, he's thrown off the cape, the cloak. He's down to just his core armor and this spear, and got his deadliest weapon. And Luffy still just has to hang on at all times because of how much everything is just sinking with him breaking apart stuff all the time.
Just the amount of usable surface at this point is just dwindling.
Yeah, it really is. But you know what? That's pretty unique to have a spear that explodes on contact.
Yeah.
That's pretty fun. And you got the panic from Luffy. He's like, I'm falling, and able to grab one or something.
He's just like, whoop. Yeah.
And you could just see how little is left as far as you gotta
like these tiny little chunks of boat.
That's where kind of the pressure's kind of building up, because I still think, even at this point, at no point did I think, even the first time watching, that Luffy could lose this fight.
Right, yeah.
It's just a matter of getting past all the tricks. But him falling into the water, that's definitely a problem.
Yeah. And I think, strangely enough, there aren't that many fights in One Piece that take place like directly over the water. So it is.
I feel like that's probably pretty complicated to keep track of everything. Like you got to keep holding track of footholds and where things are and placements of everything. I can imagine planning out this fight took a lot out of Oda.
Yeah. It's definitely, it's used to really good effect in this fight.
Absolutely. And we get more. Krieg is physically strong, as they say. The spear has to weigh a ton, especially even wielding the metal shoulder plates.
Yeah, all that armor. Yeah.
Yeah. He's waving around like a chopstick. So Krieg's not weak. He's just underhanded and boring to watch. But
yeah, definitely watching him fight with the spear has been more fun.
Yes, that is true. He's able to, because the explosion adds an extra wrinkle to it all. And Luffy's out of room. He's up in the air. He's ready to bring it down and finally cut him in two and take him out. And I love the ridiculousness of it. It's like just swoosh and just Luffy hanging on. It's like, whew, that was close.
Yeah, he just hold on. He's like, you can see him wrapped around it. He just stretched himself.
Even had the little Doom in there. It's like the little mini Doom. I do kind of wish we got a famous page turn with that one.
Oh yeah.
I don't think the page numbering worked out for it, but still fun. Also, great face on Krieg about just it's like, I am getting sick of this kid.
Yeah.
And what an insult, you caterpillar.
Yeah, that's an interesting one. He's trying to squish him like a bug.
Yep.
It looks like he gets close. He's got him like right in stabbing range with that spear.
Mm-hmm. Until Luffy does basically a sword catch technique, except with his fist pounding right into the spear.
Which also, man, that shouldn't work.
No, I mean, catching a sword in first place shouldn't work, but what? I can buy this. The other thing is, oh God, that is a troll face if I've ever seen one from Krieg in that final panel.
Oh, yeah. He looks like, gotcha. Finally.
That is total troll face from Krieg.
Yeah, that is an old meme face.
It's great. Yeah, it is. But then, good on them. Even just Luffy doing that punch causes it to explode. And
Yeah.
okay,
And it looks like it did a lot of damage. Like,
yeah, this is the first time this has felt like real, true damage on Luffy. Like, we've gotten the punch on the porcupine cape definitely did damage, but Luffy kind of caused that to himself just because of his own stubbornness. This one, this feels like a real good hit by Krieg.
Yeah, and then he gets another one in.
Yeah.
Yeah, he gets hit by that explosion twice.
Yeah, and Luffy is bloodied and charred at this point. That's new. Again, each fight is definitely pushing him to his further and further, which I like to see.
Mm-hmm.
But also, apparently he's so quick that he landed 5 punches in that meantime.
Yes. What?
Yep. And those
He's been
punches that he did were enough to bring in much more land for him. He finally has enough room to send him flying.
Luffy's been playing 4D chess, surprisingly.
Yep. Taking those hits so he can get the positioning that he needs in order to win this fight.
Yeah, he like you said, he's battle smart.
Yeah, he really is. And that's the end. I mean, it goes quick. Fights go quick.
Yeah. Yeah, oh my gosh. Yeah, we're here on the last one already.
Yep, but we do have some SBSs and kind of an infamous question from this one, where we get asked, since Luffy is a rubber man, do all of his body parts stretch? And the answer is just yes. Everything stretches.
Everything.
Everything.
You know what? Good. I wasn't curious. Apparently some of you deranged readers at some point might have been curious. So there you go. There's your answer. Everything stretches.
Yep. It honestly just makes me think of None Piece by Purple Eyes WTF, which I love.
Yeah.
It's insane, but I do love it. And in the first episode, it's like, my entire body's made of rubber. And before you ask, yes, it is.
Oh, God.
And that's canon.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. I did also like this other tidbit in the SBS. They mentioned before when Don Krieg first showed up that the hourglasses on his Jolly Roger were supposed to symbolize that, like, time has run out for you. Apparently that was a real thing.
Yeah, that's cool. I also like that he tries to be silly with the power of Sanji's kicks, but him actually setting it into he's giving enough information that it can actually be usable. Somebody could figure out how strong Sanji's kicks are based off that. The energy required to break 21 wooden bats with one kick.
Oh my God.
Death Battle could figure that out.
Oh yeah, that's fuel for Death Battle for sure.
Oh, absolutely. And that's, at the start of the series, so well, let's actually get into chapter 65, Prepared. And we're back with Buggy and Mystery Woman, and where he's finally discovered his old pirate ship. It's
somehow poor Buggy, he's finally got a win.
Yeah, he's
so happy. He's crying.
He has a teammate. He's found his crew. She even looks happy. Good for her.
Yeah.
He's found a good partner.
Good for you, Buggy.
Yeah, that works out. What I did not realize, I somehow missed, that as we got to the beginning here, is that Luffy managed to break the spear.
Yeah, that was at the end of the last chapter.
I completely missed that. I don't know how, but I guess that's the 5 punches.
It's just a bomb on a stick now.
I mean, that's still kind of useful, but I guess not as damaging to Luffy. His men are still freaking out. It's like, it's a catastrophe. Don Krieg's deadliest weapon is broken.
I feel like we've basically had like the peanut gallery on both sides during this whole fight.
Oh yeah,
where it's just kind of both Krieg's pirates and the cooks kind of going ooh ah.
We definitely have to check in with them constantly.
Yeah,
which can be funny in its own. I do, especially because you see them react to him a lot of times. Like them saying that stuff does affect Krieg and his sort of tactics. So it's not just useless commentary. It does add a little bit.
Yeah, it adds a little flavor. I feel like otherwise, just maybe because Don Krieg isn't interesting enough on his own, that it would this fight would be rather one note otherwise.
Yeah, a little bit. But Krieg is convinced that Luffy's tough talk is a bluff, and Luffy's just simple. No, it's not. Even Sanji's convinced that Krieg has too much power and Luffy can't do him. But again, that that confident look from Zeph. I love it.
Yeah.
Just that approving look.
He's won him over.
Yep. Even a man bristling with powerful weapons can be skewered by the spear of blind grit.
That's a good line.
Yep. And this is a man who's been on the Grand Line. He knows what he's talking about. Yeah.
It's for sure he sees something in Luffy.
Mm-hmm. And I love how we still get the ridiculousness of that hat.
Yeah, the hat is still used to frame the panel. That's great.
But yeah, we kind of get our theme of this chapter with this one there, where in the end it's not about weapons. Grit counts more than steel. And that kind of comes into play by the end of this chapter. But let's keep going. Where we got that bomb on a stick heading right towards Luffy, but Luffy has the room to actually get away, flies up to the mast and taunts Krieg with an ook ook.
Yeah. He's just like, okay, if you're going to call me a monkey, I'm going to lean into it.
Yep. And you don't want me to lean into
climbing
it.
Around. Yeah. I love just the way all of like the masts of the ships have basically been like swung around like swords.
I think this is probably the last one at this point because Krieg cuts it in half at the base. Luffy takes off one of the ends that hold the sail as the whole mast falls towards Krieg. And I gotta give Krieg this. Him just calmly swishing the thing aside to cut across the mast and not take the damage from it.
Yeah,
that's a cool panel.
Cool. It's cool. He doesn't deserve it.
No, he doesn't. But it's a cool panel. But Luffy sends out that mast. That section of the mast is a spear. Yeah, and that's when we find out Krieg has flamethrowers as well. It's just,
he's had this whole time.
I guess so. I mean, he's basically just a Mandalorian at this point.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. Like, he's just kitted out.
Pretty much. And then we get Gum Gun Gatling Gun.
Is this our first time seeing it in the manga?
No, I think this is the second time, because I think he used the Gatling gun against all the Kuro pirates.
You might be right.
I think.
Yeah, either way, this one looks real cool.
Oh, yeah. All the fists just going into Krieg as he sort of just takes it. And he gets sent back a little bit and just, again, calls him a weakling, said, this is wood steel. You can't even dent it.
Uh-huh.
And then we get that little fwoo. It's like that's a deep breath in.
He's
just that little, you get the scream of the Gatling gun, the little breath, and bullet once again straight into the armor.
That impact
is
so good.
It's so intense that it causes the wound on his shoulder to just spurt blood.
Yeah, and you could see his veins and his muscles just struggling.
Mm-hmm. Krieg just sends him away again. It's still not enough to get through the woot steel.
Yeah.
And he's just thinking, he's like, that's pathetic. You thought your fist could get through the strongest armor in the world. And all Luffy says is, a few more ought to do it. As soon as you read that, I'm like, oh, yeah.
Yeah.
He's got
we know
this.
what's coming.
Oh, yeah, we do.
I gotta shout out the bottom panel on the next page, just where you have that really detailed overshot with Krieg at the top, kind of looking down on the remains of his ship in the Baratie. Just like all of the detail on both ships just looks incredible.
Yeah, and everything that's happened is still represented. You can see the mast that landed on Pearl.
Yeah, I feel like this fight has a really good sense of place.
Yeah, which is impressive considering it's on the open ocean amongst two crashed, a massive wrecked ship and a restaurant with a wrecked deck.
Yeah.
It's a lot to keep track of. But yeah, he's sending out more bombs at Luffy and to just get rid of more of the deck so he can keep fighting and get him back in the water, try to get him into the water. Again, the back and forth is like the strong will always prevail from Krieg, and Luffy just coming back. And that would be me.
I love him just running straight up the mast.
Yeah.
with his hands behind his back stretched out.
The perspective there, where the fists are huge in the front and the foreground, and Luffy's all tiny in the background. It's great perspectives on his rubber powers.
It's so cool.
You're doomed just as I hoped. You fell for it. And he brings down the bomb on Luffy, and Luffy powers through it with this.
Just straight through.
Yep. That face is enough to shock him, and just, man, finally, big old bazooka onto Krieg. Still affects him, though, because he is charred once again and, has lost the pupils. It is Brutal.
And I love that like Krieg he's laughing while being like sent flying back in midair. He's just like like I still have the advantage, while he just like completely ate an attack.
You might have put a tiny crack in my armor, but I still sent out all my bombs and everything explodes all around him.
Mm-hmm.
And we get Zeph's words about the grit's more powerful than steel. But Luffy activates again and goes in for the second Gum Gum Bazooka as he has this big smile on his face. And again, super satisfying to see that bazooka come down.
What a panel to end this week's chapters on. Just finally see just Don Krieg's armor just completely shatter.
Yeah.
In that glorious 2-page spread. So
it is good. Fantastic. Beautiful. I love it. And what a great ending to the set of chapters. And the thing is, we're not done. This is done. Krieg. I doubt he's even down for the count yet.
Yeah. But we're getting there. We're getting there.
We're getting there. I can confidently say the next set of chapters finishes off this arc.
Yeah. Wow. What a journey.
Yeah. It has been wild.
Yeah.
But it also emphasizes something that I've been talking about for basically the entire thing. I remember not fully enjoying this arc. And I think a lot of it came down to the first time I watched it, as far as the anime. And I think a lot of it came down to Krieg. And upon reread, I was interested to see if Krieg could kind of be redeemed and work better as a villain this time around. But no, he still sucks.
He still sucks. I'm right there with you.
He's still uninteresting, but everything else. And I think he takes away, because he's the main villain, he kind of takes away from what is overall a fantastic arc with stuff that had, from the Mihawk stuff, the Nami stuff, Johnny and Yosaku, meeting Sanji, the Baratie itself, Jean, like all of it's really good. But then you got this one weak point. Go figure.
Yeah, it's such an arc that's like so close to getting there, and then just has this one, like Krieg to me is the major flaw of this arc. Like I pretty much unequivocally love it in every other regard, but yeah, he just kind of sucks all the air out of the room.
This is the best arc to date. If it wasn't for him, well, it still is. I will say that.
I still think it's the best one to date.
Yeah, it is absolutely still the best one.
Yeah, I vastly prefer Buggy and Kuro as villains.
Agreed. Absolutely agreed. I would put Krieg above Morgan because Morgan's just basic and Alvida's.
Yeah, I knew I was forgetting. Forgot about it.
Alvida and Morgan are just sort of there, so they don't really count. But third best of the 5 villains we've seen so far.
For sure.
Yeah. We get some more SBS questions before we finish this off, where we get question about the One Piece characters that have the highest and lowest IQs. And according to him, as the characters that we've met so far, the highest is Shanks' first mate, Ben Beckman. And apparently he's an excellent aide for Shanks. And then the next highest was probably Kuro, then Nami.
Okay.
I can kind of see that. Yeah. I mean, we had our issues with Kuro, but his bloodlust got in the way. He's still intelligent. He's just bloodlust and dumb in that way. Control man. I do love how he says there's too many idiots to say the dumbest.
That is such a One Piece answer.
That's all the major highlights in that section of SBS. But that brings us to a close for those set of chapters. And as we said, good arc, but it is satisfying to see Krieg get hit.
Yeah, I think maybe not because of Krieg, but in spite of him, a lot of the fights and a lot of the set pieces are really satisfying. Just to see him just eat it.
Yeah, because
seeing Luffy
he builds
punch
this up
through.
as a guy you want to see get beat up, get defeated.
Yeah,
quite well.
And I think One Piece in general is really good at that. Like even if I'm not in love with a particular villain, there's just something about him to be like, man, this guy sucks. I can't wait for Luffy to punch him in the face. And then Luffy punches him in the face, and I'm like, yes.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yes.
Yeah, it's pretty fantastic. It works. He works as an antagonist, pushing Luffy to a different kind of brink to see how Luffy reacts to that kind of fight. Mm-hmm. It works, but it's just, I don't know. It's just not satisfying. And I'm curious if other people have the same issue as us, or if that's unique to us. I don't know. But we'll have to see what everybody says. But
yeah,
with that, I believe we've said all we've wanted to say about chapters 61 to 65 of One Piece. Thank you so much for listening, and you can find more of my ramblings and stream VODs over at BitNerd Games on YouTube or BitNerd with an underscore at the end on Twitter. Brandon, where can they find you at?
I'm at Brandon Bovia on Twitter, just to talk about anime, manga, games, and my job, basically.
Yep, always good stuff. And yeah, if you'd like to help us out even more, you can support the podcast over at patreon.com/Derek Bittner. That's DERRICKBITNER. Thank you, name. To listen to the next 3 episodes 3 days early. And make sure to return next time as we discuss chapters 66 to 70 of One Piece. Until then, my friends, bye.
Remember to take life one piece at a time.
You should know one thing about me. Everything is made of rubber. And before you even ask, yes, it is.
What the hell are you talking about?